My name is Kate Eberle, and I'm a senior account executive here with Blue Margin. Today I'm going to walk you through a set of sample reports that we've built after working in the legal industry for the past 10 years. We've built reports for a number of companies in the AmLaw 100, and what I'm about to walk through here are examples of those reports that we've rebuilt with a fictional company, anonymized data, just to give you a sense for common reporting areas that we've seen in this space and solutions that we found have worked really well for our legal clients. Where we'll start is this firm overview page. What this is designed to do is to summarize performance really quickly for any firm level partner so that they can come into this view and quickly understand how they're performing against their personal benchmarks and firm benchmarks. So on the top right here, often like to start with key performance indicators or KPIs. In this case, billable hours, revenue, and profit give you a quick sense of how the firm is trending in this particular performance year and have some context just so you get a sense for if we're on the right track or not. So here you can see variance against the same period in the prior year. From those KPIs, we go down into just a couple visualizations. You can see revenue and profit trend and then billing and billing realization trend. We like to keep our reports very clean. While it's really tempting to add a lot of information on the page, we like to make sure that we're featuring just a couple key components of information on any given page. So in this case, we have revenue and profit trend, billing and billing realization trend, and then as you're starting to analyze this report, great, you can see that performance has improved period over period, but of course the next question is why? What's driving this performance change? So I can start to go down at these bottom levels of information, start to understand, okay, what practice groups are driving that performance? In this case, in the fictional data, it looks like tax, class action defense are the key drivers there in terms of just volume of profit growth. And then as we continue to go through here, you can see detail by practice group, client, and matter, really allowing you to drill in to understand, okay, are there particular clients that are driving this performance or particular matters? And how can I keep an eye on the even more detailed performance indicators for those particular areas so that I can start taking action? If, for example, my WIP starts to get too high, AR starts to get too high, or even profit, as the partner overseeing those accounts, I can quickly come in and see, okay, who are my associates that are working on that, and who do I start talking to get this under control and back into the green. As we continue to work through these particular views, we always like to start at this highest level view, and then really continue to peel back the onion to drill into performance. So this next page really just is a quick way of visualizing those key indicators, very similar to what we saw on that firm overview slide, except this time we're really focused on partner performance. So looking at your partner class across the firm. So we've got revenue by partner, looking at what they produced in the same period in last year. You can also see profit, really filtering that by practice group or client as well, and then client inventory by partners, really staying on top of our WIP and AR, making sure that collections are not getting too overdue and that you're able to actually pull in the revenue that you expect. Very similar to that last page, you can continue to drill in by partner. So if I'm looking at Eleanor Payne here, I really just want to understand how she's performing in comparison with all those folks. You do have that cross-filter capability, so simply by selecting her from this revenue by partner pane, it updates the entire rest of the report. So now I can see not just what her revenue is, but profit, how she's carrying inventory, and then continue to unpack and take a look at the matters and clients that she's carrying, in addition to the teams and their performance on any given one of those clients. As we continue through this portfolio, this is just a different view for any particular partner. This is set up to use row-level security. So as you can see, it's a very similar look and feel to that last scorecard, but here it's set up so that if I, Kate, were a partner at this firm, I was logging into my Power BI suite, everything would automatically be pre-filtered to reflect my individual performance. So here I can see the clients that I'm working on compared to the prior year, understand the particular clients and matters, how those are looking from a profit percentage, and see that performance over the course of the year. And then similarly, continue to diagnose, get down to the details, and understand who I need to talk to either be upping their billable hours or even collecting in a more timely manner. So So this is, again, using row-level security, something that in the legal space is particularly important because there are so many different hierarchies. Think about practice groups, think about different regions. You maybe have different office managers, even down to how you're breaking out commission percentages, looking at business development contributions. Really getting row-level security right in the legal space is incredibly important because of the sensitivity of the information and, at the end of the day, just how important it is to anybody's actual earning potential. So far, the views have been, let's look at the firm, let's look at overall practice performance, and then let's take a view at any individual partner's performance. What we'll look at in this next card is a view of client scorecard and client health. So just another way to look at overall performance of the firm and understand, okay, who are our biggest drivers? Unsurprisingly, Scout Financial Partners has been popping up across these various views. But as you all know, revenue versus profitability are not always the same. So when you have those cases where one is outpacing the other, you can start to see with this bubble chart. In this particular case, Scout Financial Partners, very healthy, $1 million in revenue, about 17% in profit. But you can also see you've got a Cornett Scott attorney as a client. They're not producing a lot of revenue, but they are highly profitable. So profit here is the diameter of those particular circles. Very similar to all of the other reports, if I wanted to cross-filter, I could do so. I could look specifically at Scout Financial Partners and the whole rest of the page updates. So far, all of the views that we've looked at, whether it's the firm overview, practice performance, partner performance, or even client scorecard, have all been at the firm level. So you're really tracking a particular client and matter as it's being worked on. These next few pages are all focused on inventory, whether that's WIP or AR. Now, the views you'll see here are quite similar, but the underlying goal is the same, to make sure that invoices are making their way out to clients in a timely manner, and of course, that clients are actually paying on those invoices in a timely manner. So here we can see WIP, can start to understand, okay, what's over 365 days, who do I need to talk to about in this particular inventory so that I can make sure that we're actually billing on time. And then as we move into AR aging, you get a better sense. Very similar view for what are we carrying on an inventory from a trend perspective. And again, I can see who's trending really egregiously over 365 days. I can start to identify those clients and then figure out who do we need to talk to actually collect this revenue and make sure that it's contributing at the end of the year. While those previous two reports were focused on WIP and AR specifically, this last page is a nice way to consolidate all of that information, largely helpful at the firm level if you wanted to see WIP, AR all in the same spot and start to understand across an individual partner how their specific inventory is performing. So I could look at Isla, she's at 0.9 million of WIP, 89K of AR, and then I can see, okay, various practice groups or clients who's contributing to that WIP and AR performance. This last page is a detail page. Now, you may be looking at this saying, wow, this is incredibly tabular compared to all of the other visual, highly interactive views that we saw before. I don't understand how this is adding anything. For us, this has been a really critical part of facilitating change management in the legal space. When we've partnered with firms on their data journey, a lot of times, while there may be appetite for better access to data, as folks get used to new reporting platforms and ways of engaging, it's really helpful to actually simulate what they're used to seeing. In this case, that may be a highly tabular view that gives them all of the information that they need at the click of a fingertip. In this case, you could start with a tabular view of client matter. You can filter through and start to see the same information broken down by period, broken down by working timekeeper, really just gives you a way of engaging with the data in a way that you could easily extract to Excel or PDF if you have folks on your team who are simply more comfortable engaging with data out of the gates that way. This is a really nice entry point so that you can get them engaging with Power BI, starting to use those drill down features, really engaging with the tool before you start introducing some of these other much more aggregated and interactive views like we've seen in the previous reports.